You're listening to an Airwave Media podcast.
Hi, I'm Neil.
And I'm Lauren.
And we're the hosts of Curated by Chance, a new podcast.
I'm an art curator who also teaches art history to engineers.
And I'm a filmmaker and author who loves movies.
And every week we use 3 random prompts from our trusty algorithm Chance that will help us come up with weekly topics to tell each other about, whether it be an artwork, a movie, a book,
a TV show, a Broadway show, or even a pop culture event.
So listen in every week to join us, 2 good friends who aren't going to apologize for excitedly talking about the things that we love.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neil, and Jeff. This is Triviality.
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My tummy was rumbling just as I was about to introduce the show. So you guys distracted me from my intro.
That's okay. Rumble in the Bronx, but in your tummy.
Yeah. It was from a good meal.
It was, yeah. We had some nice Thai food.
I'm just digesting here.
Yeah, that's all right. You're just digesting?
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Good. It's going well.
Jeff, are you digesting?
Things are moving along nicely.
I'm digesting food. I'm not being digested.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's always better.
That's for later. Matt, are you digesting?
Yes, broadcasting from the Sarlacc pit. I will be digested over the next 1,000 years, I believe.
Well, we're all enthused today, and the reason I say enthused is because I think this might be a first, and we're so honored for this to happen, but both of our guests today are Dutch enthusiasts on Patreon, which is incredibly generous, and we're so happy to have them here. So we'll just get right to introducing them because we're so excited to play today's game. First, we're going to introduce our guest player, who's going to be partnering with Matt, coming to us from Houston, Texas, Cat Forkner. How are you, Cat?
I am doing just great. How about you guys?
Doing great. Tell us a little bit about yourself. We're so excited to have you here.
Well, I obviously live in Houston. You already know that part. For work, basically, I just am a professional stickler. I work in compliance, and that's really fun. Nobody likes your emails, basically. That's what my life is. And I've got a 20-year-old who, almost 20, I guess, who requires an alarm clock for the hearing impaired. So that's why I'm here somewhere else recording today. And that's about it. I've got 2 dogs and a little bunny rabbit, and that's my life.
And what are the pets' names?
I have Ripley is our first dog, and she's like 8 now. And then I have Kona, she's a little husky, and she's also kind of fat. And then the bunny's name is Boba T, not Boba Fett.
Gotcha. Oh, cute. And is Ripley after Sigourney Weaver or a different Ripley? Believe it or not.
That's the one.
Oh, awesome. Well, I love it. Yep. Hopefully you get a Nostromo toy if you can, or something like that.
That would be sweet. We've got plenty of alien memorabilia, that's for sure.
Well, good. Well, you're going to be partnering with Matt today. And Matt, what's your team name? And maybe Kat can give a little context behind it.
Yeah, Kat was mentioning how hot it is in Texas right now. He said we should probably take a dip in the pool. And then we learned, Kat, you are in the Jeopardy pool. Is that what I heard?
Yeah. Been waiting, but there's still time.
It's a big pool from what I heard. So we're gonna be a dip in the Jeopardy pool.
All right.
And we'll be competing against them, and we all know that we're the shallow end of the pool. So
for more reasons than one, yes.
We'll just be the shallow end.
The shallow end. Well, we have our teams. We need a host, and we're so excited to have him back, coming to us from Canada, but we like to call him a traveling man like Ricky Nelson because he's always traveling around the United States. Ken Ludlow. How are you, Ken?
I'm doing well, Neil. How are you?
Good. Just remind folks a little bit about yourself and then maybe what you've been up to lately.
Yeah, I'm a project manager for a software company. So my job entails traveling around to wherever new customers come on board to take, start using our software and help them implement and learn how to use it. So I'm based out of Mississauga, Ontario, just outside of Toronto. But very often traveling all around Canada and the United States and some other places occasionally for work.
Very cool.
Yeah, and you have a great GoldenEye poster behind you, I think, is what I see there.
No, it's...
or is it Tomorrow Never Dies? Oh, Threat Level Midnight.
That's so good.
Well, it was a great parody.
So much better than it could have been.
I was going to say, it looked like GoldenEye from back here. We're excited to play your game. Any preference on the rules read before we get going?
No, I don't just do the standard one.
All right, how about Golden Face reads the rules?
Okay.
The rules of the game are simple. 20 questions split into 2 rounds worth 10 points apiece. At halftime, there'll be a special swing round designed by this week's host. After regulation, players will enter the final round with the points that they've accumulated and will have a chance to wager 0 to 30 points on 5 categorized questions. At the end of the game, someone will be named the cream of the crop.
Cream of the crop.
All right, we know how the game is played, so Ken, let's go.
All right, guys. Just a straight up format for this one, typical sort of game for you guys. So we'll start with round 1, question 1. For 2 points each, list the automaker that is the parent company of these 5 luxury car brands: Acura, Audi, Genesis, Infiniti, and Lexus.
Yep, we're locked in.
Okay, so Jeff locked in immediately because he likes cars, as has been.
We could have
established.
locked in immediately too.
You know
pretty
these?
much. Yeah.
Oh, awesome! I drive a Kia Forte, so I don't know anything about
that's
these.
none of them.
I
so
understand.
Feel better.
All right, so what are we locking in with?
So Acura's Honda,
Mm-hmm.
and then Audi's Volkswagen. What was the next one? I didn't write it down.
Genesis.
Hyundai.
Infinity
That's Nissan.
and Lexus.
Lexus is Toyota.
Yeah,
last
we
one.
had the same list,
We should have
so
all.
nice job, Kat.
Yep, great job.
I'm a Subaru driver, but I used to do some racing and stuff, and
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
you get to see all the little
That's cool.
the race boys out there with their different cars.
Is this going to be Kat's Slumdog game? I can feel it coming on already.
Only if
well,
it's
I
literally
figured
all
that-
about that. If the next questions are all about Subarus or something, then we're good. Otherwise, no.
More
I figured
cars.
Jeff would lock in pretty quickly on that one. I didn't know there was going to be a car expert on the other side, too. All right. Question number 2. The Atlanta Vibe, the Columbus Fury, and the Orlando Valkyries are 3 teams that are part of a new American professional league playing what sport? Its inaugural season ended on May 18th, 2024, with the Omaha Supernovas beating the Grand Rapids Rise in the championship game.
All right, after a little conversation, I think we're going to lock in here.
I'm not 100% sure here. Do you have any ideas?
I pulled my weight with the cars. I thought you had the sports.
Come on, Matt. It's a sports question.
I know.
I mean, like literally the only sport I could think of that recently came back was the XFL, but that does not sound right.
Yeah, and I
don't
was
know
actually
what any of these are.
It was the UFL, and I was in a UFL fantasy league because I'm a degenerate who has to do that. I think that there's a professional women's hockey league that just had a championship, and I don't know if
that does sound
if
familiar.
these teams are correct, but that sound familiar to me. So
I was watching a lot of WNBA stuff.
Yeah.
So I was busy with that probably.
and these are not WNBA teams.
No.
So we can go with a women's hockey league.
And we have a similar but slightly different answer. We're going with women's football.
All right, no points there. This is teams from the Professional Volleyball Federation.
Oh.
Valkyries. That's a great name. Flying in,
Yeah.
spiking down.
I'm a big volleyball fan, so when I was traveling, I ended up in Columbus, and I stumbled across a game that they were playing, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, volleyball.
awesome.
Volleyball is a quickly growing sport. So
Yeah,
I
it
have
was
to check
very
this
well
out.
done. Yeah, and I actually I was in Kansas the week before the championship game, and so I ended up rearranging my flight and driving to Omaha and going to the championship game as well. So yeah, it was really, really good. Moving on, question number 3. While lying in a hospital bed and speaking to FBI agent Jack Bear, played by Giancarlo Esposito, the character Arkash Kovash was the first person to speak the name of what notorious late 1990s movie character, though he was speaking Hungarian at the time. A 2-point bonus on this one. What member of the main cast of this movie made his big screen debut in the 1988 movie Big Top Pee-wee?
Okay, so we have a notorious late 1990s movie character. Is this potentially Godzilla?
That is very interesting as a choice. That's not anywhere near what I was thinking, but I don't know.
Um, I'm not sure, but I remember that being when his name said is there's somebody in like a hospital bed, and that's what I'm remembering. It could be wrong.
But I don't know, because I mean, Godzilla's been around a lot longer than that. Are they saying just the first person in that movie to speak the name, or
Yeah.
like ever? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll go with you on that one because I don't know otherwise.
Yeah, and I think
What does Godzilla sound like in Hungarian?
I'm not going to wager a guess on that one. And then for the bonus, I think John Cusack, it's probably too late for that to be his debut, but I know he's the lead, but we got nothing else. So,
All right, we're going in a different direction here. I think maybe the movie is Usual Suspects, so we're going to say Kaiser Sose. And for the Big Top Pee-wee, maybe it's Benicio del Toro telling Pee-wee, give me the
All right. Full points there for the shallow end. Yeah.
I think maybe next time I will say what my guess was.
yeah.
Is that your guess?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just slap Matt
The
around a
first
little
one,
bit.
not this. I didn't know the bonus, but I don't know.
Yeah.
A little nervous, that's all.
No,
that's
don't
okay.
be nervous at all. We're just having fun here. No one cares about the points.
And there's nothing to win, so.
I care about literally only the points. That's the reason I'm here.
Well, then you gotta put your foot down and push
Yeah.
Matt out of the way. You guys know what's going on.
The point are the points.
He said John Cusack was in Godzilla when it's Matthew Broderick. Come on,
That's
Matt.
who I'm thinking
Yeah.
of. It's a lot of fish. I don't know. That's all
Wait,
I know.
Inspector Gadget was in Godzilla?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
possible.
All right. Question number 4. What city's original name was Losantiville, which was derived from words meant to signify its location opposite to the Licking River, a tributary of the Ohio River? The name was changed in 1790 to its current name, which it was given in honor of a Roman general. Some of its early nicknames were Porkopolis, City of the Seven Hills, and Queen of the West.
All right, Jeff, I like one of these answers that you wrote down. It could be a general name.
All right, so they're locked in. We're looking for the Queen of the West. What's your initial thought?
Well, I started thinking of things, and then I realized that everyone I was thinking of were emperor names, not general names. So that's kind of a wash there. I wasted time thinking about it for nothing.
Yeah, that's the thing I know the least about. Like I'm going to stick to possibly something off the Ohio River. Porkopolis?
I mean, what's the opposite of licking? Maybe that has to do with it.
I don't. What is the opposite of licking?
Not sure.
Yeah, it's yeah. So my first thought was something in Ohio. I did an entire round on Skyline Chili before, and that led me to a lot of stuff about Cincinnati. And I think that Cincinnati might have been called Porkopolis at one point in time.
As a Texan, I should not be happy anything related to Skyline Chili, or Cincinnati chili in general. But
Yeah.
you know what? That sounds good enough to me.
It's not.
Go
It's
for
not
it,
great,
Cincinnati.
but we'll go with Cincinnati.
All right, we're taking a name that sounds Latin to us. We're going to say Columbus.
All right. Points again this time to one team, and that is deep end in the Jeopardy pool.
All right.
The answer this time is Cincinnati.
I wonder if Randy Newman wrote a song kind of like a Cuyahoga, like Fire On, is that what it's called? But he did one about the Licking River.
I don't know.
Down by the banks of the Licking River, where the willows weep and the shadows shiver.
Look, as
Well,
long
that's
as
not
we
bad.
get the impression, then
I
we'll
cast
take
the
it.
line, hoping to deliver. I catch so grand it'll make me quiver. There you go.
Thank you.
I
Noel.
think it would sound a little something like this.
It really
God.
changes the meaning of "You've got a friend in me."
Yikes. Jeff.
Oh, Jeff Caligula.
Ken, let's move on.
Let's move on.
All right. Question 5 is a bit of a long one. So, while there have been plenty of Canadian musicians that have made it big in the U.S., one that never made much of an impact south of the border was the Tragically Hip. One of the most quintessential Canadian rock bands, they were in the top 5 best-selling artists in Canada between 1996 and 2016. The Hip did have some brushes with mainstream American music scene, however, such as an appearance on Saturday Night Live in March of 1995, as well as an early show in Madison, Wisconsin in 1989, where the opening act was What Up-and-Coming American Band. That band performed the songs Polly, as well as Even in His Youth, which ended up on the B-side of their hit single that launched them to stardom in 1991.
All right. I've never heard of this band.
Really?
The Tragically
I
Hip.
mean, I know they're Canadian. But
If we look at this opening act thing, do you know any?
I think I know it.
You think you do? Okay. What were you
Yeah, I
thinking?
mean, Polly is definitely a Nirvana song.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what a 89. That's a
Yeah, the air is
timing
right.
for it.
The song is right. I think we can lock in.
Okay. So you're saying Nirvana, and so are we.
Yeah. The era is right and the song is right. Good job. I don't know. It surprises me the disparity between how popular that band is in Canada to how they were in the United States, given the proximity. But they're fantastic. Matt, if you haven't heard of them, you should listen to some of their songs. Their lead singer passed away a couple of years ago, but they're really, really good.
Well, after 5 questions in the first round, the game is very tight, but thanks to a lucky Del Toro for the shallow end, they're going to be in the lead with 32 points, but not far behind is a dip in the Jeopardy pool with 30.
All right, we'll move on. Question number 6. The legend of what cryptid originated near Point Pleasant, West Virginia in November 1966 when 2 couples reported seeing a creature that stood around 7 feet tall with glowing red eyes that had a disorienting hypnotic effect. They claim the creature made screeching and fluttering sounds while it chased after them as they drove away. There were several other sightings over the next few years, and while there haven't been any official sightings since the late 60s, a museum in its honor opened in Point Pleasant in 2006.
All right. Well, I fondly remember Emily Baker's cryptid dating game, so I think we're going to lock in on this one.
I do love some cryptids. Do you know which one this would be, by chance?
I mean, is it Mothman? I'm trying to remember.
So I'm pretty sure that, I always get this one when just describing it mixed up with the New Jersey Devil because they're very similar, but obviously that one's from New Jersey. So I think Mothman's a good guess.
Yeah, the glowing red eyes has me thinking of Mothman. Get lost in those glowing red eyes.
Perfect. Full points all around again. That one is the Mothman. I was in Point Pleasant, so I went. I was going to say I went to the museum. I went to the gift shop in the museum and bought a T-shirt. That's what I did. Which I also did. I went to the North American Bigfoot Center and bought a T-shirt there as well. That is in the town of Boring, Oregon.
Is the T-shirt blurry as well?
No, it's not. But I figured if you're going to... if you want to be a hideout and not be noticed, you'll hang out in a place called Boring.
That's right. Kat, have you seen the Mothman Prophecies with Richard Gere?
I have not, and I've never really. I don't know.
Don't put it on your list of things.
I probably wouldn't put it on your list, but
there was an episode of the X-Files I remember with Mothman in it. That was like the newer season.
All right, question number 7. Kat mentioned how hot it is in Houston this time of year, but obviously I live near Toronto. I mentioned that. The guys live near Chicago. The climates of Toronto and Chicago are very similar. The average temperature in June in Toronto is about 24 degrees Celsius, and the average temperature in Chicago would be around 75 degrees Fahrenheit. In January, the average temperature in Toronto is about 0 degrees Celsius, and Chicago is about 32 degrees Fahrenheit. The question is, what is the formula that approximately converts degrees Celsius to degrees Fahrenheit?
They're locked in. The only thing I know about this is I know 0 is approximately equivalent to 32, but I don't know how you get to these numbers.
Well, so when you're doing Fahrenheit to Celsius or Celsius to Fahrenheit, I think you either add 30 or subtract 30, and then you either divide it by 2 or multiply it by 2. But I think if it's Fahrenheit to Celsius, you subtract and then you divide by 2.
Subtract and then so Fahrenheit to Celsius, you subtract.
So I think if it's 32, you can't really do 32 to 0 because you don't get 0 when you're dividing anything. But I think you subtract like 30 and then divide by 2.
Okay,
that's the closest I can remember.
That sounds like a formula, and I don't have one. So
Ken was giving me.
I'm just shocked. I'm just shocked at this equation.
Ken was giving me a lot of grief over here. Not the good
it's not
Ken.
Grief.
Not the good Ken, our host.
I'm not giving you any grief about how it's written. I'm just surprised that that's the formula.
Jeff's paper is just full of equations like Will Hunting at the Harvard classrooms.
So I believe what you would do is you'd multiply the number by 9/5, and then you would add 32. So that way, if you had 0,
divide by 5/9 also, can't you? Going the
Something
other way.
like that, yeah.
Let's go the other way. Yeah.
Yeah, there were two answers I was going to accept. I'm not surprised Jeff got the more specific answer. The more specific answer is multiply by 9/5 and add 32. Kat, you had the general answer. You said it in reverse. You converted Fahrenheit to Celsius, but I'm going to count that.
All right.
So to count,
I would have tried one way, and if it looked wrong, I would have tried it the other way. So,
to convert.
I don't mind being simple over here. It's fine.
The quick way to do it, because when I'm on site in the States, people often ask about Canada and or talk about the temperature, and I always got to do the math in my head. So I've learned to do it pretty quickly. The quick way to do it is to the degrees Celsius, you double it and add 30, or if you were doing it the other way around, like Kat said, Fahrenheit to Celsius, you would subtract 30 and then divide by 2. So points all around there.
All right.
Yeah. The only reason I know the equation is because I know that negative 40 is the same for both. So I can always work it out if I forget.
All right. Question number 8. What fictional character's actual first and middle names are Alexander Joseph? Though his story has altered throughout the years, he is often portrayed as a power-mad businessman. He was the head of a corporation that started out as an aerospace engineering company and went on to purchase other companies such as an airline and a newspaper. He has been portrayed on screen by the likes of Kevin Spacey and Gene Hackman.
Kat, you seem locked in.
Yeah.
We're locked in.
I thought I knew it before the last part, but then I definitely know
This
it.
Rich Uncle Pennybags or Scrooge McDuck?
Yes, I love the Gene Hackman version of Scrooge McDuck.
Let me think about this really quick.
Yeah.
But I think we can actually lock in here, Jeff. I think it's Lex Luthor.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yep, that's the same thing I was going to say. Lex Luthor.
Perfect. Everybody's on a roll. Full points again for that one.
I'm glad you didn't give the Jesse Eisenberg version away. Too,
Yeah.
so.
Soon to be Nicholas Hoult.
I like him.
Are they doing that again? More Superman?
Yeah, the new Superman, James Gunn.
Never stops. More Superman.
All right, moving on. Question number 9. What is both the name of a social media app launched in 2023 as a prospective alternative to Twitter and the surname used in the title of a song that Weezer covered on their Teal album?
I mean, I definitely know a song from the Teal album that's a name, and that's the only one I can think of, but I have no clue about whether or not it has anything to do with an alternative to Twitter. So,
Well, we're not too sure on this one. I feel like I kind of remember something about this, but we're just going to tap on it. I can't come up with anything.
Yeah. So, Kat, you said that you've heard the Teal album, and what song on that had a surname even in the title?
well, so the only song that has a name in the title that I could think of was Billie Jean.
Yeah.
But I don't know what that has to do with any
And
social media apps.
And the
so.
social media apps I was thinking of from that era were Parler, which was, I think, maybe even earlier, but I know Threads around the area. But that doesn't make sense. So we're going to say Jean and hope that's something. Unless her name was Billie Jean Threads, which I don't think it is. So
Now, Ken, what if you gave a hint about ELO? Would that have been the answer?
Yeah, I was concerned about doing that. I thought I might make it too easy, Neil, but yeah, you're on the right track there for sure.
Yep.
ELO did Mr. Blue Sky.
Well, that's easy. Yeah, that's Mr. Blue Sky.
Yeah, so that's the answer, Mr. Blue Sky. So no points there. I don't know if I misled everybody too much with the surname part of it.
that's definitely a surname.
And Blue Sky is a social media app.
Senior Blue Sky.
I'll take your word for it. I've never heard of Blue Sky. But maybe we're missing followers on it. We need to check.
You think it's Canadian? Maybe.
Probably.
The person who keeps mentioning it to me is Canadian, but that's most of the people I talk to. So
I'm waiting until it gets at least as popular as Clubhouse, and then I'll check it
Is that
out.
the one with the penguins?
I don't know. It just
That's a
apparently
different
is the
thing.
10th most daily utilized social media site, and the only one I had never heard of.
What was that game that kids played a little after our time, Matt?
That was Club Penguin.
That was Club Penguin.
Club Penguin. Okay, yeah. I just remember people were like doing weird chats in there with penguins.
That was my first experience with my child on the internet, really, like with other people on it at the same time.
No creepy penguins, hopefully.
Creepy penguins. He was not on it for very long.
Oh,
All right, the last question in round 1. The NHL's newest team will begin playing next season, and while the team will be based out of Salt Lake City, it's already been announced that the name of the team will be the Utah Somethings. Including this team and within one, how many teams in the 4 major American sports leagues, so MLB, NBA, NFL, and NHL, refer to the state in which they are based instead of the city? No tricks. I'm counting all the New York teams to be named after New York City and not New York State for the purposes of this question.
All right, so we went through every state in the continental United States, including Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C., listed every team. It took 30 minutes, but we got to 16. 16 is what we're going with.
Yeah,
we're a little short.
We were hearing them recount a few that we were like, ooh, we clearly missed. We
forgot about the state of Tennessee, for example.
We did, and we didn't forget, though, one of my favorite trivia facts is the state of Minnesota is the only one where all Big Four are named after the state.
But we said 13.
Yeah.
No points here. The answer is actually 19.
Wow.
Kat and Matt, you guys mentioned New England Patriots. I was counting that as well as the Golden State Warriors.
I call shenanigans on that.
GSW, yeah.
NHL has Carolina, New Jersey, Florida, Utah, Colorado, Minnesota. The NBA has the Golden State Warriors, Indiana, Minnesota,
Pacers.
Utah. NFL
Which state is New England?
Well, it's referring to a group of states.
I will say, even if you don't, I will say, even if you ignore the New England shenanigans, just missing Indiana and Golden State, because he does say refers to the state.
I think if we got Indiana, I would
out.
fight for points, but because we didn't, I'm happy to move on.
If I lived within one state of Indiana, I would be more embarrassed, probably.
Well, it's a good thing I don't anymore.
Yeah.
After the first round, both teams only picking up 30 points on the second half, so that's going to bring a dip in the Jeopardy pool to 60, and with 2 points in front, the shallow end with 62.
Before we go on to the swing round, I want to mention our Patreon really quick. Like I said, both of our guests today are Patreon members at the Dutch level, so we appreciate that.
And if you want to join Kat and Ken, you can go to patreon.com/trivialitypodcast. For as little as $1 a month, you'll get rid of all these ads and all of us talking about Patreon. And for as little as $5 a month or higher, you'll get a bunch of bonus audio content. So that could be weekly Patreon bonuses hosted by us, plus a crop drop at the end of the month, or our huge backload of audio as well, if you want to just kind of listen to us grow and see how we sound from 2017 until now, and, I don't know, shake your head or something. But yeah, we look forward to having you support the show. We're almost to 600 patrons. That's been our goal for 2024. We're nearly there. We just need a little bit more to get there, and we're hoping we will by the end of the year. So if you'd like to be one of those lucky folks, maybe we'll do a little prize for number 600 or something. Come join us at patreon.com/trivialitypodcast.
All right, let's find out what the swing round is today.
All right, guys. For the swing round, I have a list of 10 nicknames for poker hands in Texas Hold'em poker. So for those of you who don't know, Texas Hold'em poker, every player gets 2 cards in their hand, and they share those with 5 cards that get played on the table, and everyone makes their best 5-card hand from those. So there are a bunch of nicknames for the potential starting hands you have, the 2 hold cards, they call them, that are only for yourself. So I'll give you the nickname, and you tell me the 2 cards that would make up that hand. So number 1 is Snowman. Number 2, Good Buddy. Number 3, Speed Limit. Number 4, Fido. Number 5, Sailboats. Number 6, Woolworths. Number 7, Heinz. Number 8, Ducks. Number 9, Flat Tires. And number 10, Dead Man's Hand.
Okay, we have our hands of poker, and we'll be right back.
Are you earning and investing in the stock market, in real estate? How about in relationships? Are you earning and investing in your life? I'm Doc G, semi-retired hospice physician and host of the Earn and Invest podcast, where we have the 201 or next level conversations about money and life. Not only how you make money and grow it, but also how you use your wealth to create a better and more fulfilling existence. Join us every Monday and Thursday wherever you listen to fine podcasts.
And we are back. We have some guesses for these hands. So Ken, let's hear the names one more time, and we'll say what cards we think you have to have.
All right, number 1 was Snowman.
We said 88 because it looks like snowmen.
Yep, we had the same thing.
Yep, that's perfect. Number 2 was Good Buddy.
10-4.
Yep, same here, 10-4.
10-4 is correct. Good job. Number 3 is Speed Limit.
We thought 55 would be a reasonable speed limit, so 5-5.
Yep, despite the Sammy Hagar Association, we also thought 55 was the speed limit.
Yep, you guys are doing well on this one.
And here
number 4 is Fido.
Oh, yeah, I think this is the flop, really.
Yeah. We think 3 and 3 because it looks like paw prints, maybe.
We have King and 9, like K9.
Oh.
Yes, K9 is correct.
Nice
well
poll.
All right. Number 5 was Sailboats.
We said 7 and 7 because it looks like little sails on the wind to our eyes.
We said 4 and 4 for the same reason.
Oh.
Yeah, 4 and 4. I think little more resemble sailboats.
Well, that's just like your opinion, man.
You can go to the poker table and turn over 2 sevens and say sailboats. See what happens. Number 6, Woolworths.
All right, for this one, we had no idea, so we said maybe it's a king and queen.
We thought this is potentially like an old school 5 and dime, so we said 5 and 10.
That's right, 5 and 10.
Wow.
Number 7, Heinz.
5 and 7.
Yeah, we had the same thing, 5 and 7.
Yep, Heinz 57 sauce. That's right. Number 8 was Ducks.
Maybe 2 jacks for some reason.
We had a pair of 2s on this one because when you look at the 2, it kind of looks like a little duck or a swan or something swimming.
Yeah, supposedly looks like a couple ducks swimming.
Depends on how you write your 2s, though. I don't write my 2s that way.
I just draw little ducks instead of 2s, so those are very accurate for me.
They're probably, I mean, most cards aren't handwritten anyway, so it supposedly looks like 2 2s looks like 2 ducks swimming on a pond, so a pair of 2s is correct. Number 9, Flat Tires.
We said queen and queen because the Qs.
Yeah, this one we were wondering what a jack was for, so we said jack and 4.
Yeah, Kat and Matt had that spot on.
Wow. Getting crushed. I think that's why Kat, if the listeners can't see, but she's wearing a hoodie with sunglasses.
How did you figure that out?
I'm very Phil Ivey over here. Yeah.
She's been bluffing the whole time. She knew all these.
That's what it is. What's a jack for? Flat tires.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I had no idea on number 10. I hope Matt got it right.
Yeah.
The last one, is Dead Man's Hand.
I remember the story behind this. This Wild Bill got gunned down while holding this poker hand. I don't remember what it is, but we guessed 7 and ace, maybe.
It's one of my old favorite wrestling factions, aces and eights.
Aces and aces, correct. The story you got right, Ken. He was playing 5-card draw or stud at the time, and he had 2 aces and 2 eights, but nickname for the hand for that reason is Ace and 8. So perfect for Kat and Matt. I was listening to them.
How did you do that?
Well, after the swing round, today it actually was a true swing round. Going into it, it was 60-62. The shallow end only picking up 20 points, bringing their total to 82, but a dip in the Jeopardy pool. Perfect, as Ken said, picking up 50 points. They're at 110, so 110-82 going into the second round.
Yeah, let's start with round 2. Question number 1. So I talked a little bit already. I travel quite a bit for work. And as anyone who travels a lot knows, your airline miles are very important. So for 2 points each, please name the airline that is associated with the specific points program listed below. Number 1, Sky Miles. Number 2, Advantage. Number 3, Mileage Plus. Number 4, Rapid Rewards. And number 5, Aeroplan.
All right. So we talked through all of these and had some pretty good guesses. So for Sky Miles, we're going Delta. For A Advantage, we're going American. Mileage Plus, we're going with... What are we going with? United, that's right. Rapid Rewards, we're going with Southwest. And Aeroplan, we're seeing if he loves his Canadian Airlines, and we're going Air Canada.
We're very similar. We said Delta, American, United, Southwest. And then, we weren't really thinking about the home court advantage. So we said Frontier, although we don't think they have real rewards either. So.
Yeah, a little bit of game theory there. Matt and Kat got it. First four, you both were right. Delta, American, United, and Southwest. And yeah, most of my points are with Aeroplan because I fly very often with Air Canada.
We were just trying to even out our score to a nice round 10. So,
all right, question number 2. What band debuted in 1975 with some early songs such as Love You to Death, Money, and Lazy Bones? The membership of the band has remained relatively consistent throughout the year, with a couple of long-standing members being Floyd Pepper and Gerald Teeth.
Can't believe that guy didn't go into dental work. Should have.
Floyd Pepper? I know. Oh, the other guy. Okay. Do you think that this is that Muppet band?
That's what I was thinking.
What is their name?
Dr.
Do you know?
Teeth. Dr. Teeth and the Electric something.
Yeah.
Something. I'm not totally sure.
Dr. Teeth and the guys. That's what.
Yeah.
We think it's Muppets also. I think they're Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. Is that it?
Yeah, that's the one.
If it is the Muppets, you could give them points for Dr. No.
Just kidding.
We said electric something. Mayhem is something.
Yeah, the answer is Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem.
Give them points. That's they have the spirit of the answer.
It's up to Ken, up to you, and I'll write it down whatever you want me to do, Ken.
All right, give them points.
All right.
I agree.
That's
it
the
was
Canadian in him.
I'm the only one that doesn't agree with that. I'm like, I don't think we should get points.
Well,
for
we'll
that.
take the next question.
Remember that I gave you charity.
He just wants to put an asterisk when we lose on this game.
This is like Chekhov's charity at the end here. Ken's going, yep, you got to give me that 10 points back.
All right, question number 3. I do travel a lot. Amongst the top 5 airports in the U.S. by number of passengers serviced, which is the only one that services a metropolitan area that is outside the top 10 in the U.S. in terms of population?
Well, we're locked in here. I think I am kind of catching on to the question here.
Okay.
Are you thinking Vegas?
Vegas. That's a good guess. Because the other ones are what? We're looking at like Atlanta, Dallas, Fort Worth, right? Probably LAX. But maybe not.
I don't think Dallas is in for passengers though.
No. And their metropolitan's huge, so I like Vegas.
Where else would be like someplace?
Yeah, I'm thinking of like a
international stuff coming in.
It'd be like a hub, right?
Yeah.
But most
I feel like a hub would probably they choose those because they're in pretty big cities though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Vegas
that's my best guess.
Is a good guess, and all the other ones I'm thinking of are huge cities, so we're gonna go with Vegas.
Make the call. No, you make the call, Mr. Smarty Pants.
Johnny come late. Which one is it?
We're going to say Orlando.
Both really good guesses, but no points.
Wow.
Both Vegas and Orlando are in the top 10 size airports in the U.S. and obviously not large metropolitan areas. The answer here is actually Denver. Denver is the third largest.
Creepy airport.
It is creepy.
The third busiest.
Why?
It's just like desolate
It is,
and weird. I don't know.
It's got all the Illuminati stuff in there.
Yeah, look up all the conspiracy theories around
the horse with the glowing red eyes, like the Mothman.
Is it because that's where everybody has to connect through? Is that why it's like super busy, but like nobody really
big
wants
to? Refueling airport.
Every time you go to the bathroom, Sean Payton asks if you need a hand. It's really weird.
Bronco Nation, let's ride.
Top 5 airports are Atlanta, Dallas, Denver, LAX, and O'Hare. In
Chicago O'Hare,
yeah. Question number 4. In 1984, in an effort to release more adult fare, the Walt Disney Company launched a new production label that focused on producing movies with more mature themes. The first movie released under this banner was Splash, and 2 years later it released Down and Out in Beverly Hills, which was the first R-rated film released by Disney. The banner lasted until 2017 and shuttered after the release of the movie The Light Between Oceans. What was the name of this banner?
I think we're locked in.
Oh, they were quick. What do you think of this one? You have any idea?
Not even a little clue.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Like this kind of production stuff is usually something I'm not interested in at all. I was thinking Miramax. It's around that time, and they did have R-rated movies, including like I think Ninja Turtles. The original one was on Miramax. I don't know if that's Disney though.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to say, I'll go with it.
Yeah. I think we don't have a good answer, so we're gonna say Miramax.
We had Buena Vista.
Mm.
And you're looking for the production company, not the distributor, right?
Yeah. It's all Disney
Right.
companies. Yeah.
Because I think Jeff Buena Vista is also Disney, but they had a production label called Touchstone, which is where they released their adult movies on.
Touchstone.
Yeah. The answer I was looking for was Touchstone Pictures.
Oh, I can see that VHS intro now with the little squiggle or whatever that goes across.
But Buena Vista did distribute their like older themed films. Yeah, okay.
Question 5. On January 24th, 1972, Sergeant Soichi Yokoi of the Imperial Japanese Army was found on Wat Island, located approximately 1,500 miles south of Japan, after hiding out since 1944. Yokoi hid in the jungle after his regiment was defeated in the Second World War battle with American forces for possession of the island, and remained there for 28 years, believing that the war was still going on. He returned to Japan to a hero's welcome and died in 1997 at the age of 82.
All right, we're locked in.
All right, so you were thinking potentially Guam. I kind of like that as an answer. It's an island we can name.
It's an island, I think. Yeah.
And it's big enough to be kind of an answer to it.
For someone to hide, probably too, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. We're going to go Guam.
All right, we mentioned a few of the big island hopping battle islands, Midway, Guadalcanal, Solomon, and we're settling, though, on Iwo Jima.
All right, points again for Jeopardy Pool. The answer is Guam.
Wow.
Man.
How would he not know?
I actually got to go to Guam.
Did you really?
For work. Yeah. Well,
you didn't go to Iwo Jima for work?
So I'd like to go. We didn't go to Iwo Jima, no. And so we got some free time while we were there. We were driving around and just kind of stumbled across. There's like a
you found
small
Sochi?
tourist attraction.
It's basically entirely an American military base. Yeah. Like, how did he not know the war hadn't ended? Like, that's crazy.
Well, all the military was all over the place. He wasn't about to ask him.
Yeah. Like, is it over? It's like, no, go back in. Go back in.
I see tanks rolling by constantly. So.
After the first 5 in the second round, the shallow end picking up 18 points, bringing them to an even 100, and a dip in the Jeopardy pool picking up 30 points, extending their lead to 140.
All right. Question number 6. The 150th Kentucky Derby ran on May 4th, 2024, with Mystic Dan beating out Sierra Leone and Forever Young in a 3-way photo finish. The names of racehorses need to be registered with the Jockey Club, an organization based in Lexington, Kentucky. Within one, what is the maximum number of characters, including spaces and punctuation marks, that an official name of a racehorse can be?
27, one for each letter of the alphabet in the space.
Plus a space.
27.
I kind of like 27.
Okay, so they're kind of throwing a guess out there. I'd love to have an in on this. I'm just trying to think of horses with the longest names I could think of.
And why there would be a limit. How they would come to that. But
I think it's
well, you don't want somebody to name their horse the entire text of Atlas Shrugged. So.
Yeah, I think engraving costs on the trophy. The longest name I wrote American Pharaoh. It's 18 letters or 17 letters or spaces. That seems like a lot. I don't know if it's that much more.
I don't know. I was thinking like how many letters are in Lexington to Kentucky. Maybe it's supposed to like even out or something on a cup. I have no idea.
So we're roughly somewhere around like what, 22, 23, something like that.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds like a number.
Lucky 23. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, 23, and we are sticking with 27.
Matt should have kept with his instinct. The answer is 18.
Wow.
18 is the one.
How many letters are in Lexington, Kentucky?
I think it's 18. Let me see.
I think it's 18.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
We both had the
9,
right
10,
idea
11,
and then
12,
guessed
13.
something
Yeah, we
completely
did.
different.
17 plus a space, so 18.
I love it. Yeah.
Wow.
I will never forget that, which is what I say until every time I listen
Until you
back, and
forget it,
then
yeah.
I remember that. I was like, oh, right, that's how I was going to remember that.
All right, let's move on.
All right. Number 7. In the 1950s, baseball reporters and announcers started to use what term that typically refers to a place on a boat to describe the area of a batter's strike zone where they had the potential for the most power?
He threw it right into his poop deck.
I was going
Is
to
what
pick
you're
that one,
saying?
but you.
This one?
No, we'll go with that.
Does that sound good?
No, but
All right, we're locked
it's
in.
better than poop deck.
Yeah. Okay, so it seems like we have absolutely no idea. I wasn't watching a lot of 1950s baseball, so I don't know this. So we're gonna go with I don't know, the Briggs.
Just say poop deck.
Just say poop deck. We're going with the poop deck. He's hitting an upper decker from his poop deck.
All right, well, we wrote down keel, aft, stern, starboard, mast, and I think we're going to go with mast. Although keel seems like a good answer.
I liked their one of captain's quarters.
Captain's quarters, maybe. We're going with mast.
All right. No points here. I guess this question wasn't in either one of your wheelhouses.
Oh, no.
The answer is wheelhouse.
No.
Wow.
Why
What a
does
great
a boat
fact.
have a wheelhouse? Why do they got
Because it has a
wheels?
wheel.
You got to
Oh,
put the wheel
steer it.
somewhere, yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the boat just goes wherever, Matt. Got to steer it.
I have explained I never had a boat.
All right. Let's keep it going with number 8. What actor was responsible for the following movie quotes? Well, it just so happens that your friend here is only mostly dead. Hi, Curly. Killed anyone today? And I came here tonight because when you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible.
We're locked in.
So I think the first quote is from A Princess Bride. And I think it's the old guy.
Are you thinking Billy Crystal?
Yeah.
Which?
Yeah. Because in City Slickers, the guy was named Curly, right?
Oh
Somebody-
yeah. And he's in that movie. I like it. Billy Crystal.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Yep, we also said William Gemstone. Crystal.
Perfect. Full points there. Yeah, the third quote was from When Harry Met Sally.
Yep.
Number 9. As we speak, the Edmonton Oilers are facing the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup Finals. As a Canadian, most of us are happy to see a Canadian team in the finals, as it certainly does not happen as often as we would like, with only the Vancouver Canucks and Montreal Canadiens making it in the last 15 years. What was the last year that 2 Canadian teams made it to the Stanley Cup Finals, with the Calgary Flames beating the Montreal Canadiens in 6 games? That same year, the Toronto Blue Jays made their second ever Major League Baseball appearance, losing to the eventual world champions Oakland A's in the semifinals. The Jays would go on and win their first World Series title 3 years later.
So it's either it's 90 or 91 on the Toronto World Series. So we're looking at 88 or 87. Coin flip. What do you like better?
Let's pick 88. That's the year my wife was
All
born.
right.
We'll say that.
We're going 2 snowmen.
Okay, we're going a little earlier for no reason at all and saying 1972.
Matt, you had your years off a little bit. The Jays won their first World Series in 1992 and then their second one in 1993. So the answer to the question is 1989.
Well,
Taylor Swift is very mad at you.
I know.
All right, last question of round 2. Referred to by locals as come from a ways, travelers to the Canadian island of Newfoundland can become honorary Newfoundlanders by going through a ceremony called the Screech-In. During the ceremony, people are typically asked to repeat a traditional saying, kiss a codfish, and do a shot of Newfoundland Screech. Newfoundland Screech is a strong, dark rum that is imported from what island nation over 2,500 miles to the south? Interestingly, inhabitants of both places sometimes refer to their islands as the Rock.
Well, I did go to Newfoundland and I was doing the ceremony to try to become an honorary, but I did not want to wear the bear suit or sit in the fire shack, so I passed.
But you did opt for strangers' hands on your
Yes,
behind.
yes, I went through the ceremonial thrusting.
They're locked in. I've never experienced this rum, unfortunately. Any initial thoughts?
I've had some good Alcatraz rum recently,
Mm-hmm.
like y'all were talking about, but I don't think that's it. I mean, I think Puerto
I thought that was
Rico
toilet wine.
Puerto Rico and Jamaica are the only places I can think of that when I think wine, that's kind of it. But
Yeah. For
they're
rum,
both south of Canada, so there's that too. I just don't know.
yeah. Coin flip between Puerto Rico and Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Jamaica. Yeah,
I
we
guess,
were off with our coin flip last time, so
Yeah.
let's go Jamaica.
We also said Jamaica.
All right, yeah, good choice on the coin flip this time. The answer is Jamaica.
All right.
Just to prove I'm Canadian, my wife just walked in and
Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons.
Hey,
Ah.
nice.
Timmy Hortons.
I can get that here now. Fun fact.
Yeah. No, I was in Kentucky last week.
impressed.
I think I mentioned that there was one in the town I was in Kentucky last week too.
Did you get some
It's
Timbits?
not the same. It's not the same.
No.
Just so you guys know. Yeah.
After the second half of the second round, both teams picking up 20 points. Looks like the shallow end is going to go into the final round with 120 points, and the dip in the Jeopardy pool going to go into the final with 150. So 30 points is all that separates both teams.
Before we wind this game up today, just want to remind everybody, check out our Patreon. For as little as $1 a day, you can sponsor Triviality Boy.
You can actually do it for even less.
$1 a month even.
Indeed.
$1 a day would be very generous, though, and we'd
It would.
appreciate it. Our two guests today give way more than $1 a day, which is phenomenal. We appreciate that so much. But for, as little as $1 a month, you can eliminate all the ads, including this rambling right now, for $5 a month. You can get all of our bonus content, which includes a weekly bonus and our crop drops. So consider joining us at Patreon at patreon.com/trivialitypodcast. Ken, what do you have in store for the final round?
All right. One of the last times I was on the show, I mentioned I had started to play the video game Civilization on my daughter's Nintendo Switch a little bit. So for the final round, I guess for the people that don't know, Civilization is a exploration game. You start with settlers and warriors, and you go around. You pick a civilization to play as, so Greeks or Romans or Aztecs, something like that. And you just move around and found cities and learn technologies and grow your civilization that way. And you can win a bunch of different ways by either getting into space or taking over the world, different things like that. But the game has a pretty robust player aid. They call it a Civilopedia, where they give you all the in-game information for all the different concepts in the game. But it also has a lot of historical and factual information included there. So all of the questions came from information that I got from the Civilopedia in the video game Civilization. So for the category names, I have the section from the Civilopedia that I took the information from, and just a general description of the question just to help you guys decide on your wagers there. So question 1 is from City States. It's a North American history question. Question 2 is from Great People. It's an inventions question. Question 3 is from resources, a minerals question. Question 4 is from districts. It's an international landmarks question. And question 5 is from units, a military history question.
And both teams going all in as they can. We have 24 points on each question because that's all we can afford. And the other team going all 150 points for 30 points with each question. So, Ken, let's get the questions.
All right. Question 1. As players explore in Civilization, they come across city-states. City-states in the game are single-city non-player entities that you can ally with or trade or attempt to conquer. One city-state that can show up in a game is Cahokia. Located in North America, archaeological evidence show the city was settled around the 8th century, and it was the largest city built north of Mexico before Columbus arrived. In the year 1250, the population was reported to be larger than that of London. The city was marked with unique earthen mound structures, the remains of which can still be seen at Cahokia Mounds State Historic Site in what U.S. state? Question 2, Great People and Inventions question. By completing certain achievements in the game, players can be awarded a great person, which are important historical figures such as generals, artists, engineers, and scientists that can grant significant in-game bonuses. One such person is Great Merchant John Spilsbury. Spilsbury was an English cartographer and engraver who glued a map to a flat piece of wood and used it to help people learn geography. As such, he is generally considered to have produced the first instance of what recreational item? Question 3, Resources, a minerals question. In Civilization, the map is seeded with different resources. Settling near or obtaining control of a space containing those resources can provide players with money, knowledge, or food. One such resource is niter, a strategic resource that allows players to produce gunpowder. Niter, or potassium nitrate, chemical formula KNO3, is more commonly referred to as what? Question 4, Districts, an international landmarks question. As players found cities to grow their civilizations, they can surround them with specialized districts where they can place specific buildings to provide unique benefits, such as campuses to build libraries and universities, and industrial zones to build workshops and factories. Sometimes playing as certain civilizations will replace a common district type with one that is more specifically relevant to that civilization. For example, someone playing as the Brazilians will see the water park district replaced with what neighborhood of Rio de Janeiro? Presumably, it is meant to represent an area generally considered one of the most famous beach areas in the world, and not the hottest spot north of Havana. Question 5, Units, a military history question. Obviously, a major part of the game is combat. Players start out with the basic military units, and as they develop more technologies and gain additional resources, they can build better and stronger armies and upgrade their units to more powerful ones. For example, a slinger will upgrade to an archer and then to a crossbowman. What is the name of the unit that upgrades from a catapult and then upgrades into a bombard? Similar to the catapult, this siege unit uses a lever and the force of gravity. Ammunition, typically rocks, were loaded into a sling, and then a weight on the other end of the lever was dropped. The sling swings and launches its load toward the target. Despite its name, you do not have to be using the French to build it.
All right, we have these civilization questions, and hopefully we're civilized enough to come up with good answers and become today's cream of the crop. We are back, and we have some answers. Hopefully they're the correct ones. Let's get the questions one more time.
Question number 1 was about city-states. The question is, in what state can you find Cahokia Mounds State Historic Site, which was the site of a city-state in North America?
We think this is our home state of Illinois.
Oh, I hope it's not, because we said Oklahoma.
And the answer is Illinois.
Oh boy.
Yeah, when I was
boding
researching
well.
it and found out about Cahokia, I was like, wow, I was surprised that it was right here in our home state. So
Just for the record, it is not pronounced Illinois. I'm just being a smarty pants.
It's actually pronounced Illinois.
Illinois
Hard
with a
S
hard
in the
S.
end.
yeah, you got to come on and feel the Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, Jeff, when I was looking up some things to ask from that. I was surprised to see that was in Illinois. So. Question number 2. What common recreational item was first derived from John Spilsbury, a cartographer and engraver who glued a flat piece of wood and used it to help people, a map to a flat piece of wood, and use it to help people learn geography?
We thought Mr. Spilsbury maybe rode a tricycle, and, was nicknamed Billy the Puppet, and we said he made the first jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, we also said puzzle. I think both of us had heard that somewhere else. Definitely not the crescent roll cans, though. That's not the one.
Yes, jigsaw puzzle is correct. In the game, if you get awarded that great person, he gives you the resource of toys. So
fun.
Also giggles if you poke him in the stomach.
question number 3, what is niter or potassium nitrate more commonly referred to as?
Yep. We're pretty sure this is saltpeter.
Oh, I don't know saltpeter. We said we had no idea. We said black powder.
And the answer is saltpeter. Question number 4. What is the water park replaced with if you play with the Brazilians in Civilization, a district of Rio de Janeiro, and not the hottest spot north of Havana?
Yeah, it's got a great song that goes with it. We think it's the Copacabana.
Also, isn't that way south of Havana?
I guess, yeah, you're right. Unless you go all the way around.
You go so far north it comes back around again.
We knew that one too. Good old Barry Manilow, Copacabana.
Perfect, yeah. Full points all around there. And the last question, what is the name of an ancient siege unit that uses a lever and the force of gravity to sling rocks towards its target?
Yep, I too have played a few strategy games and like using the old trebuchet.
Yep, trebuchet. Seen the videos where they launch pumpkins from those things.
Oh,
They're pretty cool.
No, pumpkin chucking.
pumpkin chunkin'.
I didn't come across the pumpkin chucking videos, but that is the correct answer. Both teams got that right.
They had a whole show on the Learning Channel, I believe.
Well, that's all she wrote, folks. And even though the swing round was huge for a dip in the Jeopardy pool and they got those extra 10 bonus points, just wasn't enough. They picked up 30 in the final round, bringing their total to 180. But the shallow end doubled all of their points to end the game with 240, making them today's cream of the crop.
Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in, but the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
A little bit of a comeback today, but you guys had us through the whole game, played an excellent game. Well done. I can't believe how well you did on the swing round.
Still a good time.
Kat, we're going to start with you. You're one of our newest patrons. We can't thank you enough for that, for supporting us, and we love that you found the show. Anyone you'd like to shout out or anything you'd like to say before we let you go today? It was such a fun experience hanging out with you.
I guess, this is my first Pride Month with a partner who may be more interested in celebrating that. So I just want to kind of let everyone know, go out and hug a gay maybe or something like that this month.
Hug a gay.
Maybe we should make a t-shirt. Hug a gay. I like it. Just, get people hugging because that's what we need. But yeah, thank you, Kat, for that message and for being with us today. And great job today.
Just remember, a hug a gay keeps the doctor away.
That's true. And Ken, always a pleasure to see you. We know you're traveling around a lot.
Pleasure to see you too.
Well, yeah, you too, Ken.
Ken Ludlow, right?
Mr. Ludlow. If you're ever, around these parts, as they say, in Deadwood or other westerns, feel free to hit us up. But anyone you'd like to shout out before we let you go today and drink your Tim Hortons?
Just say thanks to a couple of playtesters in the Discord, which was helpful. They helped me refine some of those, which was good. And just thanks to my wife and daughter hanging out upstairs as I do this. I always appreciate that. I travel a lot, so usually try to spend the weekends with them. But taking a couple hours to hang out with you guys was great. And it was fun, a lot of fun to do it. So I appreciate you guys as well. Thanks.
Well, thank you. And we couldn't do this without our play testers. Thank you to them. And we couldn't do it without our network, Ken.
Yeah, that's right. You can go to airwavemedia.com to find other great podcasts such as History That Doesn't Suck, Culture Kids, and Bad Watchdog. And Ken, one last statement today before we go. And when this airs, the statement will either be prophetic or comical. I'll just say, go Oilers.
Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you to Ken and Kat for being Dutch enthusiasts on Patreon. We couldn't do what we do without them and their generous contribution. Join them at patreon.com/trivialitypodcast. But for Ken, Jeff, Matt, Kat, and Ken Ludlow, my name is Neil. That was another episode of Triviality, and we'll see if Ken is a genius in a short while. See you next week.